right now that it should say that I'm recording. So I want to give you that heads up because I'll be posting this webinar later on if you would like to view it later or share it with any of your coworkers. So hi everyone, my name's Samantha. I am the corporate trainer here at PM Toolbelt. And a little background about me, I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota. I have a large background in education. I've worked with adults, I've worked with preschoolers, I've worked with high schoolers and middle schoolers, teaching anything from English, math to physics. I've done it all. So I'm really excited to be here today to show everyone the capability of our software. Today we'll specifically be talking about projects. Now, what that means is that it requires more than one work order. What we found in the property management industry is that you might have things like turnovers, rehabs, renovations, and that, of course, they require a lot of work and that things can get messy very quickly when it comes to those big projects. You may be going over budget. Maybe you don't completely understand the full workload that you're going to be sending out. There's not enough communication going on with tenants or with owners, etc. So you will see with our software that we're really great with projects when it comes to multiple work orders and keeping track of all that financial progress, as well as office management. So within projects, we have tasks, and you can assign those tasks to company users. So not only can you keep track of work orders, you can keep track of your employees to make sure they're doing their job when it comes to those big projects. Before I move on, there's a mixed crowd today. We have some current customers here actually, as well as just some people that are interested in our software. If you're a current customer, it's because you're using our software, but like most people, you don't know of all of its capabilities because you get very busy and it's hard to try new things. So that's one of the reasons why we decided to do this specific webinar. And then if you're looking into other softwares, it's great for you to know that we have additional features besides inspections, estimates, invoicing, and general maintenance requests. Now that I've given a bit more context of myself and what the webinar is about, this is going to be a very short webinar. It shouldn't take any more than 30 minutes. Truthfully, it'll take probably closer to 20, 25, because I think our projects are very easy to navigate. So what I'll do today is I'll show how you would use a project template and or create a project template, and then creating a project and seeing what projects in progress look like so you understand better of what that means. Now, when you're using our software, we do first require project categories. So I just wanted to quickly point that out before I show you our projects. This is our home screen. It's called the dashboard. The point is just to do a quick breakdown of all the work orders you have going for today. Now, for project categories, you'd go into your settings and you scroll down and you select project categories. Sorry, I have the little red light, so I'll try and make sure not to cover any text so you can read. Now, project categories, this may be, as I said earlier, turnovers, rehabs, renovations, etc. But you can create as many project categories as you needed. It's customizable with our software. So going on to the meat of it, on the left-hand side, I'll go underneath maintain. Now, for projects, as I was saying, we have project templates. If I go all the way to the bottom, I would select project templates. Here is where you would create the projects that you use all the time, whether it be move-in, move-outs, turnovers, etc. You can always create a project on the fly and add work orders and add tasks as you want, but we highly recommend everyone to use our project templates because it just automates all the communication, makes it much easier for you to get your work done when you have the templates. So you can see I already have a few. I have rehab for gutting the kitchen. I have a turnover, and I have a move out. So for example, if I were to go into this rehab, it has all my project details, and this is a category of rent ready. And then we have all my work orders and all my tasks. So again, this is a project template. There's not going to actually be any work order information on it. And you can see you can always modify a template on the fly. You can add a work order at any time. You can add a task at any time. Hi, Ilinus. I'm happy you could join us today. I know you were busy. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to you. If you have any questions, we can wait until the very end, and then you can send it through the Q&A, and that's for everyone else too. So going back to our templates, this is an existing template. And you can see that you can always edit them at any time. You can delete templates at any time. But I'm going to make a really easy short template just for you to see what creating a template looks like in our software. So at the top of the page, I would go ahead and hit Add Template. Now, you need to name, of course, your template. I'm going to say this is a remodel for the bathroom. And then you choose your category. So again, that's under Settings, and you would modify whatever categories you would need for your projects. We can call this a turnover for now. And then you can provide more context for your remodel for the bathroom. Let's say you're redoing the tiling, you're replacing the sink, you're replacing the toilet, you're even replacing the tub. So you could go ahead and provide all that detail. Replace tiles, replace sink, bathtub, etc. So from here is how you're going to build your project template. You would add your work order template, and these are going to be all the work orders for this remodel. So if I'm replacing all of this, then I'm going to need to replace all those supplies that I just mentioned, replace tiles. So here's the most specific thing about our projects, and that's one of the reasons why I'm really glad we decided to do this webinar, is we have something called an offset type, and then we have an offset number. So the point of a template is something that you use all the time, right? No matter the time of the year. So you can't actually choose the dates of when you want the project to start. So what you do instead is you have offset. I want this work order to be created at the start of the project, and I want to be created day 1, or you can say 4 days into the project. But of course, with replace tiles, since that's one of the very first things, I would go ahead and say that's on the 2nd day. And then I'm going to choose this status as critical. So here is a really simplified version of the work order. It's going to start 2 days after I create the project. You can add a task specifically with this work order. So if they're replacing the tiles, maybe there's a certain tile you want them to use, or maybe you want to tell them where the tiles are located. If they're already going to be on the property, you might as well confirm something else, whether it be checking air filters, checking placement of trash cans, maybe something else should be remodeled. Whatever this may be, this can be assigned specifically to the work order. So the contractor or your internal technician would see this task. So I'm going to say something simple. I'll just say the tiles are located in the office. And then I'll go ahead and hit save. So you can see now I have my task right there. And if I hit add work order, now my work order is automatically added to this project template. And I'll just quickly add a couple of other ones to replace the sink so you can visually see what this looks like. And let's go ahead and add one to replace the bathtub. And let's say for replace bathtub, realistically, I want this project done, say, in a week's time. So I want this done 5 days, or excuse me, 5 days from the start. Or if you want, you can do it towards the end, 1 day before the end of the project. Then, of course, you choose your severity again. And you can, again, add any tasks if you want. So now we have my basic template for my work orders. For the remodel for the bathroom, I have 3 of them. And now I can add any tasks. These specific tasks are going to be related to the project, not the specific work orders. So what this means is it's really great office management. You may want them to call somebody, whether it be a tenant or owner, maybe verify the model types that you're using for the sink, verify measurements that it's going to fit in the bathroom, etc. So let's say I want to verify the measurements of the toilet. Again, you're going to choose the offset type. Because this is at the very beginning of the project, you need to know the size of the toilet before you actually install it. I'm going to say this is day 1. And then if you want, you can provide more of a thorough description if the task title isn't enough. And then you can go ahead and assign it to a company user if you want right there. But that means every time you use this project, they are going to be assigned the same tasks over and over and over again. So of course, you may have a designated person on your staff for this, but you may not. You could go ahead and leave this blank. And then you can add yourself as a watcher. If you want to make sure this is taken care of no matter what, then you could go ahead and type in yourself. So then when my coworker, sorry, Elenis, I didn't hear any noise. Don't worry. You're actually on mute, so we won't have to worry about anybody chatting while I'm explaining the software. So you'll have yourself as a watcher. So again, the point of the software, or excuse me, the point of the watcher is that you are notified when the task is completed. So this is an easy way for you to stay on top of the progress of your project. So now I'll go ahead and hit save, and you can see my task is there. And I'll just add a couple more. I'll just do all the easy ones of verifying the measurements of the sink. And of course, if you ever need more help with this, you can always reach out to us. We're very forthcoming about what we can do to help you with, and we have our chat system too. And we'll verify the measurement of the bathtub. If I can type, there we go. So now we have our template. Now at the very bottom of the page, you'd go ahead and hit save. So you can see now I have a project template for remodeling the bathroom. And if I were to go into it, here's all my work order information, and here are all my tasks. So again, you can see this is just a template. We haven't actually used the project yet. So now if you wanted to assign this project to a property, you could go ahead and go into the Projects tab. Here's a list of all my projects. As you can see, some have different categories. Some are in progress, some are new, and some are completed. I would go ahead and add a project, and I would use a template. You can see, though, you don't have to. Again, we recommend the templates just because we found you're using the same type of work orders over and over again. So, of course, you'll choose your property of what this project is for, and if there's a unit, and then you'll say your template. So let's say I want this project done within a week. You can go ahead and create that project. And you can see I got some alerts about this project. So if I were to go into this particular project, you can see we have the project details. It's the remodel for the bathroom at this property. You can see it's a turnover, that it's technically in progress because we created it, but you could always change that to new if you wanted to. And then we have all of our work orders. You can see the work order numbers automatically generated. You can see the property information automatically filled out, as well as the created date and the due date. So those offset days that you chose from the start, say 2 days in, 1 day in, our system automatically calculates those dates for you for the due date. And for all of these work orders right now, the status is still you need to schedule them because they're brand new. We don't automatically schedule out the work orders to your contractors or your internal staff simply because it's always changing. Just because you have a go-to guy for all of your bathroom needs doesn't mean this time around it'll be the same thing. And then we have all of our tasks that automatically populate, excuse me. And then as the tasks are being completed, you'll see a little checkbox like this. Right now, nobody is assigned to this particular task simply because we didn't want to, but you could easily edit the task to make it that you can assign it to whoever. So you can edit it. And then you can see when these tasks are due. I said they all need to be done within a day because we're verifying measurements, so that's why they're due tomorrow. And then you can see for one of the tasks, I have myself as a watcher. So I was notified when this task was created, and then I'll be notified when the task is completed by my coworker. And then when I scroll down more, you'll see we have a financial section. So the financial section will automatically update every time you invoice your work orders. So this gives you a really good idea if you're going over budget. Maybe you're spending more on materials than you should be. That's an indicator to you that maybe you need to contact the owner, or maybe you need to talk to your boss. Of course, something else may be going on with this project entirely. And even though this project is now live, in a sense, you can always add a new work order or you can add a new task to the project. So because I just created this work order, visually I want you to understand better of what a project in progress looks like because this one's brand new. So I'm going to go back into my projects tab right now. And I've been working on this rehab for my Fishman location. So this one's going to get a better idea for you to understand the progression of a project. So when I go into the middle of the page, you see this one has many more work orders and they're a bit more varied. This one is specifically to gut the kitchen. And so you can see I have new appliances. I need to fix the backwash wall near the sink. I need to replace the flooring tiles. I have just gut the kitchen. You need to tear down the walls. You need to tear up the tiling. And then to remove all the kitchen appliances. So if I look over on the right-hand side, you'll see all the statuses are different. One is already invoiced. One is pending approval. And then 3 are currently in progress. The one that's pending approval, we're waiting to hear from the contractor. So there's no vendor yet populating right here because he hasn't scheduled that work order. Now, if you scroll down even further, you can see I have all my tasks and I can see which ones were completed and I can see who completed them. I assigned a task to Zach Bloomberg and he already verified all the appliances need to be removed. And then the watcher was notified about the completion of that as well. So now at the bottom, what I think is the most exciting part is our financial section, and you can see this financial breakdown. So right now we have billable hours is over 20. We spent over $500 on materials, and then we have the labor costs, the total cost. We created an estimate for one of our work orders, so that populated. So now we have the total bill. So we have the total cost and the total bill. Total cost is how much you're paying for everything. Total bill is how much you're paying how much you're charging the owner. Now, of course, right now those are a little off when it comes to numbers. Ideally, you make a profit from doing your project, not a loss. But the reason that it's off kilter right now is because 3 of the work orders are still in progress. So for example, if I wanted to go to one of my work orders, let's say to replace the flooring with new tiles, I can see this guy took care of his task. He added a material. You can view the receipt for the tiles. And then we have his log of all the work he did replacing the tiles. So right now I'm just going to manually change this to completed because I want to show you that invoicing feature. So now that it's completed, I can hit invoice. And we have it automatically populate all of Itigo Smith's work. Now this is one of our internal texts, so this automatically populated. You can see that I pay Itigo Smith $19 an hour, but I'm going to charge out to the owner $35 per hour. Itigo Smith also purchased some tiles, and right now they're $500, but if you wanted to, you could always upcharge that to $600 or $550, whatever it may be that you'd want to charge the owner. So now you can see the total cost that you paid for the entire work order, specifically with replacing the tiles, and then how much you're going to bill out. So I could go ahead and generate that invoice. You can see the invoice saved. And now if I were to go back into my projects and go back into my rehab, I have the total cost and the total bill updated. Now you can see they're much closer in money amount, and I can see up here with the status of my work orders, then now I only have 2 work orders in progress. So this is a really easy way for you to understand what's going on with everything. And so that's truthfully what we want to emphasize is that projects are going to be great for anything that takes multiple work orders and then you want to use for office management. As I said, you may want to assign people these tasks if you need them to call any people or especially call the owner to give them a status update because if they're spending if they think they're going to be spending more money than they expected, that's something that should definitely be communicated to them before the end of the project. So that's just a quick overview of our projects. And as I said, I'm recording this session right now, as you already saw, and it's about 1:25. And I want to see if anybody had any questions for me. You would go ahead and hit the Q&A button, and then you can send me a question. So I'll just wait a minute or so to see if anybody wanted to type out a question to me. Again, you won't use the chat. You would hit the Q&A box that you should see. I believe it's at the bottom of your page. And actually, while everyone's thinking of some questions, I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll because I would like feedback about my webinars. Certainly, if you want to learn more about PM Toolbelt because you're not a current customer, we can always chat more and set up a one-on-one demo. Or if you have anything that you would like me to talk about in the future. Maybe you were hoping that I would talk about inspections. Well, we could easily set up a webinar to do inspections. So I'll go ahead and launch that poll right now as I'm waiting for the Q&A. And it looks like we do have a question up here. So I have a question that was asking, how can we add materials? To add a material, you would go into the individual work orders. So we don't have it that you can add it just to the project itself because realistically, you're not going to bill out just one big bill to the owner. The owner's not going to like that. So to add a material, you would go into the individual work orders and then you'd scroll down and you hit add material. And then you can type if this was a material, where they went shopping, how they purchased the material, how much it cost, and you can even add a receipt to it if you wanted. When it comes to materials, with all of our work orders, there's 2 ways to go about it. We have what's called our internal staff, and those are people who use our mobile application. While they're doing the work order, they can automatically add any materials that they use. So if they had to make a quick run to Home Depot, they could add that quickly on their mobile app, and then it would automatically populate here in PM Toolbelt. So then when you're invoicing, you don't have to worry about adding that material because it will show up automatically. If you do send out the work order to your contractors, you can still do that in our software. You send them a text or an email, and when they complete the work order, we ask them to attach their invoice. And that still attaches in PM Toolbelt in our images section at the bottom of the page. So when they attach that image, you can view their invoice, and then you can invoice it in our system with whatever materials they may have used if you'd like to charge out the owner for that. Were there any other questions? We still got a couple more minutes until it's 1:30. And for everyone who hasn't yet answered the poll, that we greatly appreciate it. I love feedback. If you found even I talk too much or I talk too little, certainly you can reach out to me as well. I'm going to open up the chat box right now, and I'm going to provide my contact information. So again, my name's Samantha. I'm the corporate trainer here at PM Toolbelt. My direct phone number is 651 300 5429. You can always email me though too. My email is very simple. It's samantha@pmtoolbelt.com. And certainly if you want to learn more about about us as a company, you could always go to our website, which is pm2about.com. We offer trial sessions if you want to do a 14-day trial session with us, which you can reach out to us anytime with questions, or you can certainly set up a one-on-one demo with me if you want to learn more. Also, for our current customers out there, a resource to check out is help.pm2about.com. And what the help.pm2about.com link does is it has all of our documents and videos. And we have a section specifically for projects that that you can learn about. And yes, LNS, I do see your comment. We'll touch base right after this. I want to make sure that we don't take up too much more time because we're just about at that 30-minute mark with the webinar. So I'm just going to give just a couple more seconds to see if anybody else had any last-minute questions. As I said, my phone number is 651-300-5429, and my email is samantha@pm2about.com. If you want to reach out to me directly, you can easily ask me any question about the software. I know a ton about it. I understand our capabilities completely as I explore it pretty much every day to make sure that I answer everyone's questions. Well, since it doesn't look like there's any more questions, I appreciate everyone's time today. As I said, I did record this session, which means I'll be posting it somewhere probably on our help page if you would like to reference it later on. I appreciate everyone for attending today. Hopefully everyone has a good Friday and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you so much.